Hey, what's up? What's good? We're gonna listen to another album. This time it is Pusha T's latest release, Daytona, which was actually the first in what I think is going to be a quintology eventually of Kanye 7-track, roughly 20-minute long releases in the early summer of 2018. He's actually making good on that insane promise he tweeted like I think mid-April or something, mid-April, early May. So Pusha T has had quite a history with Kanye. Pusha T, of course, a member of Clips, the legendary hip hop duo that made a ton of really solid, good albums and mixtapes and singles in the late 90s, early 2000s, a lot of them produced by Pharrell Williams and the Neptunes. Kanye has always been a huge Pusha T fanboy, as you can see in a lot of his music, and some like fairly famous rants where Kanye shouts Pusha T is everything over and over again. And this is pretty true. Like Pusha T was, I think, one of the first rappers to kind of take the kind of gangster rap image and the gangster rap subjects and stuff, and bring them into kind of a more like intellectual sphere, where he like really kind of championed himself around the idea of like having street smarts, and the insane raw intelligence that it takes to be a drug dealer and kind of a successful drug emperor. Pretty much all of his lines are about selling drugs in some shape or form, but he manages to make it still seem clever, like decades into his career. And this just kind of fusion of like street smarts and toughness and ruggedness, and but also like refinement and excellence and taste and perfection, really is kind of like Kanye's MO in a lot of ways. Um, I think Kanye also just got some of the best work out of Pusha T. Like he was able to kind of take the direction that the Neptunes were taking him and go even further. Pusha T appeared on a bunch of Kanye's releases around the start of the 2010s. He was on a bunch of like good music tracks. He did really good verses on all of those for like Cruel Summer and stuff. And then, really infamously, Kanye got him to do his verse for Runway like over and over again, getting to rewrite it many, many times, as kind of was the production style of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. All of them sequestered off in Hawaii, just working nonstop for months on end. But it shows because that verse is worthy of being on Runaway, which is like the highest praise I can possibly give it. So all of this kind of era of Pusha T accumulated in My Name Is My Name, which came out in 2011. I thought that was like a very impressive album. Great tracks from front to back. Pusha T rapping again almost exclusively about dealing drugs, but in a way that felt really powerful and cinematic. Like there was some real profoundness and compelling aspects to this story that we'd already heard many times before. And right around when it came out, like perhaps even before it came out, there was already talk about his next project, which was going to be called King Push. And then that just kind of got delayed again and again. We didn't really hear about it for long stretches of time. And I think 2014 or 2015, there was an album called Darkest Before Dawn, the prelude to King Push that he put out. And that was pretty good too. I didn't quite like it as much as My Name Is My Name, but it was solid enough. And thinking of it in the context of like, oh, this is just the warm up for King Push. This is just like the B-sides and stuff. Made me like really, really excited for that project. But then again, we had like a huge lull. Nothing was said about it until Kanye started tweeting about all of this music he was going to put out this summer, and mentioned like almost offhandedly and in a way that I certainly didn't take him seriously, but I don't think anybody else did either, that he was going to finally release the new Pusha T album, which wasn't called King Push anymore. It was called Daytona. And Pusha T has said, oh yeah, King Push is Daytona. But like, it doesn't really add up to me that after all this time, it also would work out to just be another 7-track, 20-minute-ish exercise that I'm guessing already is going to have a lot of the same production hallmarks as Ye and Kids See Ghosts. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I guess like if Pusha T is cool about it, then I'm happy with it too. But it seems weird. It seems very much like they just did it all in these last few weeks after Kanye made his promise, like he's evidently done with his other albums, which really doesn't seem to mesh with the fact that this album has been rumored and talked about for like coming up on 8 years now. You know, like so what actually was happening that whole time? Anyways, none of that really matters. I'm very excited to see what this album sounds like, because like this kind of raw insight we're getting into Kanye's production and his current mindset and like his rawer than ever, least thought out lyrics, giving like a really compelling look inside of his creative process. I'm wondering if we're going to get the same sort of thing from Push, because he has been, if anything, like too reliable, too consistent. All of his verses just like really solid and well put together, and all of the production on all of his tracks, sometimes very experimental. There was a song Lunch Money that still has some of the craziest production I've ever heard out of like the good music scene. But like really professionally done and kind of clean and straightforward. So hearing Push rap over kind of this new era of Kanye production is going to be crazy. Hearing him perhaps rap in more off the top of his head, kind of in the moment type rapping is going to be really weird and interesting too. But those are kind of my expectations going in. I sort of wish that I had listened to this one first, that I listened to them in release order, but like, I don't know, what are you going to do? But I've really, like I said, I really enjoyed the other two. I've been listening to Kids See Ghosts like almost non-stop since then, and then I quite often do the Yay into Kids See Ghosts combo, which is, I think, a fantastic way to listen to it. So I would be really happy if I could insert this album into first, I guess. I don't know. All right, let's check it out. This looks like a Drake diss already. So this is the other thing I know about this album, is that it has some Drake disses, and then Drake responded, and then Pusha T perhaps cost him like hundreds of millions of dollars by screwing up his Adidas contract, but that's been discussed to death in all sorts of channels, so I don't really feel the need to get into that again. That's all in the aftermath of this album. Wait, I still need to know what the first shot actually was. Okay. It's talking about drugs already! Rich boy reference. Ooh. Ooh. Oh man. Whoa, that's a deep reference. Well, no, I guess not. That was Kanye's group with Lupe and someone else. Oh yeah, I was gonna make notes. Gotta bring up our notes. I don't even know what. What? Can't. Usually I get all of his drug jokes. I just assume that's another one. I don't know what it is. This is pretty sweet though. I just love these chord progressions so much. Alright, alright, alright. Alright, alright. What? He said, yeah! Instead of, yeah! Interesting. That's an evolution. I hope he says, yuck, later, though. It's not gonna be right if he doesn't say that. Alright, show me a godly Rick Ross verse. Show me something on the tier of Devil in a New Dress. Or Foreclosures. Oh my god, that's an amazing Rick Ross song. Woo! Woo! Holy shit! Oops. Oh, those chords! That chord progression! It's so simple! It's why is this so good? It's so simple! Oh. Rose, baby! Rouse! Woo! Yeah. Oh yeah. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. I don't know. I just wish Rouse would. Sometimes he really throws himself into it. Other times he's like, I want to be like this guy, you know, like he wants to be like laid back and stuff. It's still good. It's still really good. Uh, oh, where's yuck? Yuck. So good at doing it. I can't do it. Yuck. There we go. What? Ooh, that was good. Ooh. Ooh, ooh. He said that before. Ooh. Whoa, whoa. It's the 70 shock. I think it is. But we're gonna check. It sounds like her. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. Oh, this is what I feel like is gonna just be so insane. I can't wait for Kanye's verse. The dialogue jokes. Oh man. That was sick. Tupac. Come with me. How we gonna get down? Do you wanna ride it down? Was that the entirety of Kanye's verse? Whoops. Almost missed one. Ooh, there we go. Woo! That's setting up the next track, which is Pusha's response to Drake. I guess I don't know. I just know that this is where he disses Drake. Ooh, yeah, that's pretty blatant. It's the name of Drake's ghostwriter. Yeah. Yeah. Wow, he's taking on a lot of people. Ooh. That sample is so good. Feels like almost like something from like Yume Nikki or something. Like that kind of like distant, unidentifiable quality to it. Ride with me. All right, that was good. I'd say again, it feels like the other two albums in that it's kind of unfinished. A lot of things where things just kind of lack the normal like grandeur of this of like the good music scene's music. More and more, it kind of feels like Kanye is looking to SoundCloud rap and looking to artists on like the real cutting edge that are releasing these like short tracks that don't really have like majorly complex structures or anything and are more just about kind of the immediacy of sound and having like an interesting flow and progression like sonically rather than necessarily about like the composition of the music or about the lyrical content of the music. I think that's maybe the closest thing I have to a thesis about these albums and how they're produced is that Kanye is looking at like Ski Mask and Extension and stuff like that, and thinking like, is this what people want? Like, is this a space that I can explore? And then doing a fantastic job of it. Like these really kind of stripped down productions where just like one specific chord progression is like really highlighted. It isn't about like some complex melody. It isn't about calling in the string section. It isn't about digging through the greats to find like an obscure soul sample and then like perfectly working it out into a complete beat. It's about like maybe like one or two samples that are kind of blasted at you in almost like a Mad Lib-esque fashion, where it's more about like highlighting its sampled nature rather than like kind of blending it into the beat. And then like really, really godly synths, and the chord progressions are just nuts on these. In contrast, though, Pusha's lyrics really don't seem like he just wrote them all in a week. It seems like he's kind of mining his well of clever ways to refer to himself selling drugs and things like that. Yet again, and still finding fresh water, which is mind-blowing, but true. Some of them I didn't even understand. I want to look up this line about tennis balls. I don't get it. It's gone beyond me. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, I think before I meant to mention this cover. Well, this cover is apparently Whitney Houston's bathroom. Uh, when she was like right after she overdosed, I think, like right at the height of her drug abuse. And it's quite a controversial pick when it comes to that meaning. But before I knew that that's what this was, I was like pretty impressed with this album cover, and it's just like its rawness and the way it like really transplants you into this like very uncomfortable, distressing scene. I don't know. I was impressed. I don't really get how it relates. There's like a few times that Pusha T seems to really acknowledge and uh, kind of lean into the evils of drugs and how drugs destroy lives and stuff. Like at the beginning of this sample here, and then he kind of like touches on this and stuff too. On My Name Is My Name, there's a few like kind of storytelling parts where he kind of goes into the life of an addict, but it seems like he's kind of amoral about it. That he sort of embraces this like sort of villainous thing where he's like, yeah, I'm rich though. Like you can't discount me because this was an option available to me and I worked hard at it and I made money selling drugs. As he reminds us, I think probably 500 times on this album. Oh yeah, so what was the one I was going to look up? I think it was on this. Talking about tennis balls. No. On this one? No. Was it on the first song? We got tennis balls for the wrong sport. If you know, you know. But I don't know. Does it push ever worries? Strict lingo won't connect. Well, this time, pretty sure all the other ones I get. Huh. That's cool. I like that Pusha T actually comes on Rap Genius and talks about stuff. That's like very seemingly nerdy and out of the character that he puts forward, but he's very insightful and speaks at length about how stuff comes together. This song was cool. The way the beat came out on this song was so impressive. And just again, those chord progressions. Like, I actually have to look at the sheet music if I can find it or something. Like, to actually figure out what is going on there that's so magical to me. We got the tennis balls for the wrong sport. People have a tennis ball that was hollowed. You could open it, put whatever you... Wow. Cops swore we were playing catch. Wow. Wow. Ah, sugoi, sugoi. Alright. Yeah, I was like... Oh yeah, I was about to say, well, I'm gonna say now. It seems like there's a lot of Pusha T lines about, like, I'm gonna sell drugs forever. My lifestyle is just gonna keep going. All these other rappers got soft and quit selling drugs, but even though I'm this, like, big rapper now, I still sell drugs. I kind of doubt that's actually true, but whatever. It's like, I don't know. A lot of other rappers kind of seem to embrace, especially in this SoundCloud rap era, this kind of live fast, die young mentality. And then other rappers like Jay-Z talks a lot about like his dynasty and his legacy. You know, I can't wait to give that shit to my children and stuff. But for Push, it's just like, no, it's just gonna be this forever. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the exact line. But it seems like he wants to be part of like an internal conversation about hip hop. Like he really wants to set himself up as like an archetype, as a immortal character in this non-stop, decentralized, scriptless play that is the hip-hop game. This is interesting. I was pretty impressed with this Rick Ross verse. It's not the best Rick Ross verse. Who's gonna fuck the janitor? What? Oh, maybe. It was pretty good. When he starts bringing the Maybach music sample, that always gets me really piped, pumped up. I was about to say pumped up, and then I changed it to hyped. And I said piped, which is a little confusing. uh, yeah, that was good. Rick Ross, I think, really strong on good music tracks typically. He made a couple like art references, I think, on this. It was like, I'm gonna buy these paintings because y'all rappers ruined Patek's, which is like, where was he talking about that? Here? And I was thinking about the new Jay-Z Beyonce album, which maybe we'll make a video about soon. Um, Apparently, the music video for the single, I haven't watched it yet, but it like takes place in the Louvre. And Jay-Z, who's already made probably more like art rap lyrics than anyone else. Not art rap as in like artistic rap, but rapping about art and having an art collection and stuff. You know, fucked up my Warhol, and then he's got some line about the Warhols on my wall depict a war zone and stuff. Um, where was he talking about that? Was that not on this track? I think it was before this track. Warhol? Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, because you rappers found every way to ruin Patek's. So Patek Philippe is like the current hot watch to talk about in rap. I think it's really funny because I have a friend who's doing his PhD in Switzerland in watch physics, which is crazy, and is being sponsored by Patek Philippe. And he is like very far away from a typical hip hop rapper. But I was showing him all the Patek references in hip hop music. At any rate, so yeah, it's almost like we've hit the limit with like we went from like rollies and stuff to Breitlings to Pateks. It's kind of like the top tier of expensive watches. So where can you go from here? It has to be Warhols and stuff. Like it's the only thing that's any more money. So does he have actually Warhols? This is pretty crazy. Anyways, yeah, look at this. They've increased dramatically since 2016, leading to oversaturation of the brand in rap lyrics. And I think it was in response to the oversaturation of Rolex or something in rap lyrics. Anyways, what else was I going to talk about? Oh yeah, and then he calls out SoundCloud rappers a little bit. I'm too rare amongst all his pink hair. It's like he really does define himself as like the anti-SoundCloud rapper in his delivery, especially. That it's all about just like clear, precise proclamations and like kind of clever but not like show-offy uses of flow. Like he never raps like extremely fast or anything. And most of his like major like flow moves come from like really smooth transitions into hooks or emphasis on certain punchlines, usually by doing like a sound effect after, which again surprised me that this is so low. This is so low. He's losing his yuck. I don't know. In general, he sounded like a little strange on this album, and I was talking before about how Kid Cudi's voice seemed mastered weird to me on Kids See Ghosts, and that how typically when you master someone's voice, you kind of make it like an idealized form of that voice. So that means like stripping away a lot of the tonal qualities of it. And here it's like you hear parts of their voices that you're not accustomed to hearing. But what I noticed was when I listened to Kids See Ghosts on my MP3 player, I didn't notice it at all. So I almost thought that it was being mastered for and by people using earbuds, maybe on like Kanye's laptop out in the middle of Daytona, out in the middle of Montana. Album's called Daytona. Out in the middle of Montana, you can picture Kanye just squatting in some field full of cows, recording Kid Cudi and not quite knowing what to mastering. I don't know. It's probably like a deliberate thing for effect. But here, Pusha T's voice sounded like kind of like fragile at times, kind of almost a little. I don't know. Usually, there's such a like a behind it that I think is more in the mastering than his delivery. Like his enunciation and everything like that still seemed the same. It still had that. He's like super consistent in these ways, and you can tell that he has a real focus on how he enunciates his words. But there was parts of his voice that I could hear, like almost like a little like raspiness or warbliness. I don't know. It's interesting. Yeah, there was a line that seemed like a callback to Exodus something. It's another Pusha T song where he's always just starting and then finishing rap beefs with people. You know, the fact that Drake responded to him at all is pretty rare, because normally he'll just like kind of blow somebody up and they'll get a little embarrassed, but they can't really say anything back because it's Pusha T. Yeah, Exodus 23:1. Death. Nope, it's not on that. They say the death multiplies by 3. Oh wait, no. It's not on that at all. It's on a Cruel Summer track. Let's see. Fuck 'em yay. Fuck 'em yay. I wouldn't piss on the nigga. I didn't say that. I'm gonna edit that out. Am I? I don't know what I'm gonna do. This one. Yeah. He's like suggesting, I think, again that he's going to take on like more than just Drake. I don't know. And then there was like layering in his vocals, and I think that's the first time I've ever heard Pusha T's vocals like layered over themselves like that. So that was interesting too. Oh yeah, I was gonna look up 70 Shock. Yeah, or 70 Shake. Why do I keep thinking it's 70 Shock? 70 Shake. Yeah, that was impressive too. I'm really impressed with her. Every track she's on, she just like really imprints herself in a way that isn't like overbearing. It doesn't like detract from the focus of the track in any way. But it's like a highlight of the track that makes the rest of the track feel like more cinematic, and that it revolves around that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. The last thing though is like this Kanye verse where he starts off doing the poop scoop stuff. It seems like now Kanye is just sort of embracing this as like his ad lib type aesthetic. He does it like really subtly on one track in Kids See Ghost. He just shouts out a little like scoop. Um, so I'm like all for this idea that he's just going to throw this into his stuff every once in a while now. Mainly because it obviously means that he thinks that it's really funny that he made this track, Lift Yourself, that he had hyped up and said that it would explain everything and bring closure to people and blah blah blah, and then it was of course this. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't really have too much to say about this. It's like still very much just normal Pusha T, like all the Pusha T stuff that I was kind of expecting to hear. The use of it over these like Kanye beats, this kind of new era of Kanye production, I think really proves the strength of it. That it can facilitate a rapper like Pusha T, who's like kind of traditionalist, I guess I would say, and who typically operates over like very refined beats. It can bring him into this era. Like this gives me a lot of hope for the Nas record, which I haven't heard yet either. That maybe we'll listen to soon. Oh, it's good. We will keep enjoying this latest hyper-productive, extremely unrefined era of Kanye. It's giving us a lot of music, which is great. All right, bye-bye.